In this video, I'm going to talk about how we took this supplement brand from $1,000 a month in email marketing revenue to over $225,000 a month in email marketing revenue in just 5 months. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Derek and I'm the founder of Ascend Media, where we help 7- and 8-figure D2C brands generate more profit and revenue with high converting emails in Klaviyo. So let's dive in. Okay, so before we started working with them, they were growing mostly through Meta. They'd hired a freelancer, but were still really heavily involved with the strategy and the design process. They still didn't have the emails that they were actually proud of. They were doing zero segmentation, and they did not have their core flows set up. Now, after we were able to get them out of the day-to-day, we were able to reduce their CAC and allow them to scale more on Meta ads. And we were also able to create designs that they were really actually proud of. Now, the next steps here are going to get increasingly more advanced as we go on. So let's dive in here. Now, what did we do? Well, the first thing we did was a branding revamp. We took them and their emails from looking like this. You can see like 1 email, 2 email, 3 email, not great, not a great brand presence, to this. Now, you can see here, not only do these emails look great, but they also convert way, way, way better than the other ones they were doing. The reason for this? Well, a couple of things. One, we are really specifically designing for conversions. So you can see each one of these has a CTA above the fold here. We're not only sending emails that are, engaging and sale emails and that type of thing, but we're also sending emails that are really a lot more like brand building. For example, like sleep strategies, right? How to get better sleep. This is an opportunity because they sell supplements and they sell health products. This is an opportunity for them to really build more of a relationship and give some value to people as well. Okay, so the next piece here that we tested was the pop-up creation. So our goal out of the gate was to get a 5% opt-in rate for them. And you can see on mobile, we've got 5.1%, and on desktop, we've got 6.4%. This is the first thing we want to split out and test is mobile versus desktop. The way that people interact on mobile versus desktop is different, and also like how things are viewed on each device is completely different. Once we did that, we were split testing the design and the offers. These are really, really important. The offer will have a huge impact. And then finally, we got to the timing. So we want to run one test at a time. If you're running 3 different tests at the same time, you're not going to get any sort of conclusive data of like what's working and what's not, because you have 3 different tests. So we do one of these or each one of these tests sequentially. Kind of depends on the client we're working with, but usually we might start with, 99% of the time we're doing mobile versus desktop, but then we're also split testing offers within there, because mobile versus desktop is something we're always going to have separated. And then we're looking at incorporating either offers or a design test, depending on how flexible a client is with their offers. Next thing here is just building out the flow basics. So I always recommend starting with the basics and then getting more advanced. Again, this is really, really kind of like fundamental stuff, but it builds into a lot more advanced stuff too in a moment. Start with the basics here, build out the welcome series, build out the abandoned checkout, build out the thank you, make sure that your deliverability is great with each one of them, and make sure that if you haven't watched the video that I've made on each one of these flows, make sure you build that out according to those as well. The welcome series shouldn't just be all about you. It should be about the customer. It should be about how they can achieve their desired result with your product, right? Abandoned checkout, it should be all about handling objections. It shouldn't be handling, or it shouldn't just be saying like, hey, your cart is lonely and like, would you want some like 15% off or something like that? It's silly. Like you will have very, very minimal results with that, and you're not actually dealing with anyone's objections. So this is really important here. And then the thank you is also somewhere where a lot of brands kind of like drop the ball. Really what we're trying to do here, because they are selling a supplement, we want to make sure that they get the best results possible. So this is where we're sharing things like how to use it, how to get the best results, tips and tricks, like all of these things that are going to help them get better results with the product, and honestly just keep them coming back and buying more. Now, getting a little bit more advanced here, this is what we start building upon. Once we've got those core flows, we obviously have other flows, browse abandonment flows, abandoned cart, etc. Once we've got our kind of like core flows set up, then we start split testing, right? We implement some initial split tests. Usually it's to do with send times and things like that. Those are some split tests you can implement right away, depending on how much traffic you have. But then you also might be split testing subject lines or preview text, or even within a flow, you might be handling different objections. And you might want to see, hey, which flow or which objection leads to more purchases. You could be testing a text only versus a non-text only, like a designed email. There's so many different tests that you can run here. But the next piece that that I would add in is conditional splits. This is really, really important, especially if you're building out flows that are a little bit longer, like the abandoned checkout. We have clients, and actually this client has 9 emails in their abandoned checkout, but guess what? Not everyone's getting them. Definitely purchasers are not getting all of them. They get 3. And you only get to the end if you've qualified for XYZ things. So building out those conditional splits are really important so you don't piss people off, and certainly you don't piss the right people off. The next is just increasing the amount of emails in your flows. I could say this is probably one of the biggest things with almost all e-com brands. Make your flow longer. If it's working, make it longer. If it's not working, fix it and then make it longer. Right. Fourth here is just handling objections, which I already kind of mentioned in the previous slide, and then quizzes. This is where you can learn so much more about your customer if you just ask them. You just ask questions. The best place to do product research is from your current customers. So ask them more questions, incorporate more quizzes in here as well. And think about the different stages you can incorporate these at too. It doesn't just need to be right away. It could be abandoned checkout, like, hey, why haven't you purchased yet? It could be post-purchase. You've bought 3 times. Why? Why do you keep coming back? What makes you come back? Why do you want our product so badly? All of those types of things, and looking at the different flows and where you can incorporate those based off of where people are at in their journey. Now, the next piece is campaigns. This is huge. They were hardly sending campaigns. And what we started to focus on was, number 1, just increasing consistency. Number 2 is increasing send volume. They're now sending more than a dozen emails a month. And number 3 is having different types of content. Now, this is something that most brands don't do. It's usually just like buy our stuff, buy our stuff, buy our stuff. Here's a sale, buy our stuff, buy our stuff. Here's a sale. What we want to do here is make sure that we're varying the content a little bit. So like when I go back to this, for example, this is all value-based. And the amount of emails that we're incorporating that are more value-based, and we're slowly increasing the amount of value-based emails here because they have huge impacts. Oftentimes, they'll actually do better than a product spotlight, or sometimes even better than a sale. It's pretty crazy because you're actually adding value to subscribers. So the last piece here is just drive high engagement. That's kind of like part of what I mentioned with these value-based emails or engagement-based emails, but it's also like, what does your design look like? Does it look clickable? Does, for here, for example, you can see the CTA just pops. Among this, it just pops. We're not trying to blend in the CTA. We're making sure that the CTA pops and it's very easily accessible. And then not only that, there's multiple CTAs. Even in this short email, we've got 2 CTAs. In this one, we've got 2. In this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Don't be shy with the CTAs, especially in an email that's maybe a little bit longer like this. Now, the next piece is segmentation. Segmentation is an absolute beast, but how we look at segmentation is into kind of 3 different categories. The first is engagement-based segments. These are people who have opened or clicked or visited the website or something like that. The second is purchase-based segments. So it could be people who have purchased 0 times, once, 3 times, or your VIPs. The third will be browse behavior. So what have they been looking at? What have they been shopping for? How many times have they been looking at this, etc. Now, if you want a full deep dive into segmentation, go ahead, check out this video. It is an absolute beast, I will warn you, but if you watch this video, you will 100% get a better grip on segmentation. You'll have a much better framework for segmenting your email list. Now, this is what worked really well for this brand, but every brand is different. You need to have the right strategy personalized for your business if you really want to maximize your impact from email. So if you want to ensure you're getting the most out of your email marketing, book in a free call with me by clicking the first link in the description below. And once you've done that, go ahead and watch this next video where I show you 4 systems you need to know as an e-com founder. These are things that no one's really talking about. So go ahead, click the link below, and we'll chat with you soon. Thanks so much.